On our website, you can get PDF learning materials for free. Please visit englist.me.
Awash.
Flooded or overflowing with water, typically suddenly or unexpectedly, abundant or prevalent to the extent of being overwhelming or excessive.
Examples:
Awash with cash. Awash in debt. The beach was awash with seaweed after the storm.
Divisive.
Tending to cause disagreement or hostility between people.
Examples:
Divisive question. Suppress divisive arguments. The proposed policy has been met with divisive reactions from the public.
Argument.
A set of statements or reasons used to support or refute a proposition or theory, a verbal or physical fight or dispute.
Examples:
A blazing argument. The argument against capital punishment. The argument between the two sides over the proposed policy was heated.
Conflict.
A strong disagreement, argument, or a violent clash between two opposing groups or individuals.
Examples:
The conflict between good and evil. The long-standing conflict. He and I often had conflicts, not only in personality, but also in ideology.
Fake.
Not genuine, fraudulent, or counterfeit.
Examples:
Fake police officer. Spread of fake news. The Prime Minister was not well prepared for the debate and faked it.
Victim.
A person who has been harmed, injured, or otherwise negatively affected by a particular action, circumstance, or event.
Examples:
Victim support. Victim compensation. The victim of the crime deserves justice and support to recover from the trauma.
Exploitation.
The process of making some area of land or water more profitable or productive or useful.
Examples:
Sexual exploitation. The exploitation of fossil resources. Strategic exploitation of cutting-edge technology would be a sure formula for success.
Prejudice.
A thought or feeling that is unfair and makes no sense, mainly when it is formed without enough thought or knowledge.
Examples:
Deep-rooted prejudice. Color prejudice. This community is free of social prejudice.
Bigotry.
Intolerance toward those who hold different opinions from oneself.
Examples:
Ethnic bigotry. Self-righteous bigotry. Bigotry and discrimination have no place in our society.
Blame.
To think or say that someone or something did something wrong or is responsible for something bad.
Examples:
Blame circumstances for the failure. blame the lack of knowledge. We blamed our impeded progress on lack of money.
Minuscule.
Extremely small, tiny.
Examples:
Minuscule amount. Minuscule letters. This ore emits minuscule quantities of radiation.
Span.
The entire length of something, such as time or space from beginning to end, the amount of space that something covers.
Examples:
The span of a bird's wings. The average lifespan. He slightly modified the span of training because it was just before a match.
Doom.
Death, destruction, or some other terrible situation that cannot be avoided.
Examples:
Economic doom. Prophet of doom. Everyone was aware of the impending doom, but was unable to prevent it.
Stick.
To put something, usually a sharp object, into something, noun, a thin piece of wood or other material.
Examples:
Stick a key in a lock. Fire stick. You stick a bill in the change machine, and the coins pop out.
Echo.
A sound heard after being reflected off a surface, such as a wall or a cliff.
Examples:
The echo of a person's footsteps. Sound echo. A thunderous boom echoed throughout the valley.
Chamber.
A large room used for a formal, public, or particular purpose, one of the parts of a parliament.
Examples:
A gas chamber. The lower chamber. The surgeon made an incision in the chambers of the patient's heart.
Privilege.
A special right or advantage that only one person or group of people has, usually because they are rich and powerful in a society.
Examples:
A breach of privilege. Privilege of membership. In the Middle Ages, the right to hunt in the wild was the privilege of royalty and nobility.
Vie.
To compete or contend for something, usually a prize, position, or advantage. To strive for superiority or mastery in one's field or area of expertise.
Examples:
Vie for a trophy. Vie for attention. They both vied for the top spot in the company.
Hard done by.
Unfairly treated, having suffered a disadvantage or injustice.
Examples:
Hard done by victims. Hard done by immigrants. The hard done by family struggled to make ends meet on a low income.
Conversation.
An informal talk between two or more people to exchange their views, ideas, information, etc.
Examples:
Conversation in English. A friendly conversation. Your conversation reflects your thoughts.
Confuse.
To mistake one thing for another, to make somebody hard to understand.
Examples.
Confuse the listener. Confuse fantasy with reality. Her remarks confused the debate.
Abstract.
Based on general ideas, feelings, or qualities and not on any of physical or concrete existence.
Examples.
An abstract noun. Abstract science. The invention of the camera triggered the development of abstract painting.
Mathematics.
The science dealing with the logic of quantities, shapes, spaces, and arrangement.
Examples.
A good grounding in mathematics. Mathematics competition. He has a flair for mathematics.
Purity.
The state of being undiluted or unmixed with anything else, the state of being free from immorality, especially of a sexual nature.
Examples.
The degree of purity. High purity. Higher purity requires additional equipment and energy.
Traditionally.
In accordance with tradition, typically or commonly done in a particular way.
Examples.
Traditionally accepted concept. Traditionally sung at a banquet. Traditionally, the ceremony was held outdoors.
Traffic.
The movement of vehicles, people, or goods along a route or through a transport system. The amount of such movement in a particular place or at a particular time.
Examples.
Traffic jam. Heavy traffic. We decided to take a detour to avoid the construction traffic on the main road.
Quadrate.
A square-shaped object or area.
Examples.
Quadrate shape. Quadrate ligament. The scientist examined the quadrate bone to determine the species of dinosaur it came from.
Equation.
The act of regarding as equal. Mathematics, a statement that expresses the equality of two expressions by connecting them with the equal sign.
Examples.
The equation of poverty with ignorance. A chemical equation. In this class, you will learn how to solve quadratic equations.
Empathy.
The ability to share another person's feelings or experiences by imagining that person's situation.
Examples.
Full of empathy. Empathy for patients. Empathy is also necessary to understand history.
Irrelevant.
Not connected with or related to something and therefore not important.
Examples.
An irrelevant thought. Do something irrelevant. They removed irrelevant content from the slides.
Shudder.
To tremble uncontrollably or convulsively, often due to fear, cold, or intense emotion. To recoil or react strongly to something unpleasant, disturbing, or shocking.
Examples:
Shudder at the thought. Shudder with fear. I couldn't help but shudder when I heard the scary noise from the dark alleyway.
Sympathize.
To express or feel compassion or understanding for someone else's pain, difficulty, or misfortune. To share in someone else's emotions or experiences.
Examples:
Sympathize with a tragic hero. Sympathize with their situation. I sympathize with your struggles and am here to support you through them.
Bunch.
A grouping of several similar things which are growing or fastened together.
Examples:
A bunch of trees. A bunch of schoolgirls. One bad apple spoils the whole bunch.
Straight.
Extending or moving in one direction without bending or curving, having no deviations.
Examples:
A straight line. Straight for 2 months. He was sick for 5 straight days.
Relation.
The way two persons or groups of people feel and act toward one another.
Examples:
Relation between cause and effect. Relation of inclusion. The industrial relations laws were passed with little to no alteration.
Grandparent.
A parent of one's father or mother.
Examples:
Great-grandparent. Person of grandparent age. She was close to her paternal grandparents and often spent summers with them.
Divisible.
Able to be divided into parts, usually with nothing left over.
Examples:
A divisible number. Exactly divisible. The class was divided into groups of 4, with each group being divisible by 2.
Cube.
A 3-dimensional shape with 6 square faces that are all equal in size, of mathematics, the result of multiplying the number by itself 3 times.
Examples:
Cube root. Ice cube. I cut the cheese into small cubes for the salad.
Hierarchy.
A system in which people or things are organized into different levels of importance from highest to lowest.
Examples:
Top of the hierarchy. Hierarchy of folders. She has taken a step up in the organizational hierarchy.
Prime.
Main or most important, basic.
Examples:
Prime number. Deputy Prime Minister. After a thorough investigation, she's been named as the prime suspect.
Diagram.
A simplified illustration of the appearance, structure, or workings of something.
Examples:
3D diagram. In a diagram. He is drawing a diagram illustrating how the equipment operates.
Arrow.
A thin, pointed projectile designed to be shot from a bow, a symbol or pointer that is shaped like an arrow.
Examples:
Arrow pointing. Arrow diagram. The archer aimed his arrow carefully at the target.
Replace.
To take the place of something.
Examples:
Replace one word with another. Replace a phone. Eventually, the new design will replace all older models.
Suddenly.
Quickly and unexpectedly.
Examples:
Suddenly attacked by an enemy. Die suddenly. Who answers suddenly knows little.
Applicable.
Fit or suitable to be applied, having relevance to a person or thing.
Examples:
Give applicable examples. Accordance with applicable law. This regulation is not applicable to minors.
Adjective.
A word that describes a noun or pronoun.
Examples:
Adjective clause. An attributive adjective. The adjective red describes the color of the apple.
Emphasis.
Particular importance or significance that is given to something.
Examples:
Emphasis on color. Lay great emphasis on policy. The spotlight gave the central figure increased emphasis.
Non-binary.
Someone who does not identify as a man or a woman, not relating to, composed of, or including only two things.
Examples:
Non-binary gender. Non-binary identities. More and more people in various countries believe that the policymakers should change the marriage rules for non-binary people.
Interaction.
The act of connecting with someone, mainly when working, playing, or spending time with them.
Examples:
The interaction between man and his environment. Interaction among human beings. The interaction of the two groups is good for brainstorming.
Represent.
To speak, act, or be present on behalf of another person or group, to form or constitute.
Examples:
Represent by a diagram. The characters that represent numbers. We elected him to represent us at the international conference.
Mistakenly.
In a mistaken or incorrect way, wrongly.
Examples:
Mistakenly left his keys. Mistakenly delete the important file. He mistakenly thought the red liquid was juice, but it was paint.
Characteristic.
A typical feature or quality that can identify, tell apart, or describe something or somebody.
Examples.
Stripes characteristic of the zebra. My friend's characteristic laugh. Bananas have their characteristic taste and odor.
Row.
An arrangement of objects or people side by side in a line.
Examples.
Criminal on death row. A row of cherry trees. He was the leader of the demonstrators and spoke out against the war in the front row.
Skew.
To turn or place at an angle, to make biased or distorted with the result that it is not accurate, fair, normal, etc.
Examples.
Skew the message. Skew social values. The results of the poll are skewed because it only surveyed a small group of people.
Extreme.
Very great in amount or degree.
Examples.
Extreme sports. Extreme weather events. Solar gravity creates extreme pressures and temperatures.
Definitely.
Without any question and beyond doubt, clearly.
Examples.
Definitely become a problem. Say definitely. The paper is definitely worth reading thoroughly.
Unemployed.
Not having a job, although able to work.
Examples.
Assignment for the unemployed youth. People who are unemployed. My father was unemployed for so long.
Homeless.
Without a home, and therefore typically living on the streets.
Examples.
Homeless shelter. A homeless cat. He became homeless after losing his job.
Absolute.
Perfect or complete or to the most considerable degree possible.
Examples.
Absolute loyalty. An absolute must. Gandhi had an absolute zeal for nonviolence.
Cuboid.
A geometric shape with 6 rectangular faces, where the opposite faces are parallel and congruent, a specific bone in the human body, known as the cuboid bone, which is one of the tarsal bones located in the foot, a 3-dimensional rectangle.
Examples.
Medial surface of the cuboid. Cuboid-shaped wireless speaker. The cuboid bone is located in the foot and helps with stability during movement.
Structure.
The way of construction of something and the arrangement of its parts, or a complex thing constructed of many parts.
Examples.
The structure of a machine. Structure and function of the brain. The organizational structure of startups is often flat and straightforward.
Context.
The circumstances, facts, or conditions that surround a particular event, situation, or statement and that give it meaning.
Examples:
Historical context, legal context. It's important to understand the context of a situation before making a decision.
Restricted.
Limited in extent, number, scope, or action, especially by official rules, laws, etc.
Examples:
Restricted area, lactose-restricted diet. The country has designated our products as restricted import goods.
Cisgender.
Denoting or relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender corresponds with their birth sex.
Examples:
Cisgender identity, cisgender person. Cisgender people often don't have to think about their gender identity in the same way that transgender people do.
Gender.
The range of characteristics of femininity and masculinity and differentiating between them, especially when considering social and cultural differences rather than differences in biology.
Examples:
Gender-blind policies, dual gender. Cultural norms strongly influence gender expectations.
Identity.
The fact of being who or what somebody or something is, the features, emotions, or ideas that distinguish persons from one another.
Examples:
Mistaken identity, identity as an individual. The terrorist's identity remains unknown.
Assign.
To give a specific job or piece of work to a someone.
Examples:
Assign projects, assign top priority. Please assign a different color to each other kind of item.
Occupy.
To consume all of someone's space, attention, or time.
Examples:
Occupy his time. Occupy a position. The young prince will soon occupy the throne.
Analogous.
Similar or equivalent in some respects, typically as a result of functioning in a similar way.
Examples:
Analogous fashion. Entirely analogous. The human heart is analogous to a pump in a plumbing system.
Broad.
Very wide, general.
Examples:
Attract broad attention. A broad mind. He accumulated wealth across a broad spectrum of assets.
Feminist.
Describing a belief in and advocacy for achieving gender equality in social, political, and economic spheres, Advocating for the rights and empowerment of women. Noun, a person who believes in and advocates for gender equality between men and women.
Examples:
Feminist movement. Feminist perspective. The feminist ideals of inclusivity and diversity are important in creating a more just and equal world.
Movement.
A group of people working together to achieve a shared goal, especially a political, social, or artistic one, the process of moving or being moved, physically or figuratively.
Examples:
A circular movement. Movement of troops. The movement of the dancers on stage was graceful and elegant.
Prone.
Inclined or likely to do something or to show a particular characteristic, especially something bad, lying face downward.
Examples:
Accident prone. Prone to diarrhea. He was prone to making rash decisions.
Underprivileged.
Lacking resources, opportunities, or advantages that are necessary for success.
Examples:
Poor and underprivileged elderly. Underprivileged communities. The underprivileged children were in dire need of food, clothing, and shelter.
Relative.
Considered and evaluated through comparison with something else.
Examples:
A remote relative. Relative factors. Most countries prohibit sexual activity between certain close relatives.
Pivot.
A change in direction or focus, especially in a business or political strategy, a fixed point that supports something that turns or balances.
Examples:
Center pivot irrigation. Pivot point. The team needed to come up with a pivot strategy to turn things around.
Wealth.
A large amount of money, property, or other things that someone or an organization owns.
Examples:
Majority of his wealth. Material wealth. The wealth inequality was unavoidable.
Struggle.
To make a great effort to do something when it is difficult, or there are a lot of problems, to use force or violence to break away from restraint or constriction.
Examples:
Struggle against discrimination. Struggle to get the job. He could not struggle against temptation.
Wage.
A particular amount of money that somebody earns, usually every week or every month, for work or services.
Examples:
Unpaid wages. Increase in the minimum wage. His wages continued to rise as his skills improved.
Conclude.
To come to an end or close, to reach a judgment or opinion by reasoning.
Examples:
Conclude a meeting. Conclude that he is healthy. We concluded a ceasefire.
Relevance.
The state or degree of being closely connected or appropriate to the matter at hand.
Examples:
Have no relevance. Relevance category. The relevance of this information to the current situation needs to be investigated.
Compete.
To strive to achieve more success than someone or something.
Examples:
Compete against a friend. Compete fiercely. You must compete with others to obtain this position.
Achieve.
To successfully complete a task or goal, often through hard work, perseverance, and dedication, to attain or accomplish something that one has set out to do.
Examples:
Achieve success. Achieve milestones. I will work hard to achieve my goals and realize my dreams.